This is our first time on the Victoria Clipper, and we'll be sharing information to help you have a smooth trip. We rode in comfort class from Seattle to Victoria and back on an extended weekend getaway in early January. We left on the last weekend of the winter season, and Victoria itself was pretty dead compared to summer months, but we filled our time with eating and lots of walking. We stayed at the inn at Laurel Point, which was a 2-minute walk from the Clipper dock, so make sure to check out that video when it's out. It was really convenient and it was a nice hotel. The boat left Seattle at 8 a.m. and boarding started at 7:15. We parked in the parking garage that's right across from the pier. There are tickets on board to have your parking validated for $10 per day. Prior to boarding, they checked our passports and gave us a paper that showed we had proper documentation. We arrived around 7:20 and comfort class was already boarding, so we walked right on. Vista and economy class were called shortly after we boarded. You have the option to check luggage, but the downside to this is when exiting the boat, you have to wait for group 1 to exit fully, which is anyone who didn't check a bag before you're even able to leave the boat. It just means you'll be on the boat longer. Comfort class is upstairs, and there's no real luggage storage there. We had to store our bags behind a random seat, but on the way back to Seattle, we stored them downstairs. The entire downstairs is economy class, and when you make your way upstairs, you'll see Vista class immediately, which is essentially comfort class, but without the snacks and drinks included. Comfort class was sectioned off in the front of the boat. There was a food station in the back with pre-packaged snacks and drinks. There's also a galley right outside the section where you can get alcoholic drinks and warm food for an additional charge. We ended up each grabbing a juice before we left the boat and a coffee, so that was a nice benefit to have. Each cabin has their own set of restrooms. There were 2 in comfort and 3 for Vista. They were clean and a little bit bigger than an airplane bathroom, but not all of them had hooks for your coat. Neither of our trips had a full cabin, so it was nice, especially in the morning, because there was a lot of space to walk around. These seats are also extremely comfortable. It is way more comfortable than an airplane. There was a ton of cushion, and there is a steep recline that doesn't impede on the people behind you because there is a tray table that separates the rows. In order to recline the seat, there is a lever. It is on the right side of each chair. So you just pull that, lean back, and relax. There was a lot of legroom in between the seats. Although I'm only 5'3", so I was able to swing my legs. My husband is over 6 feet, and he had no issues at all. One thing to be mindful of is when the boat is docked, it is very rocky. But as you're actually moving, the boat moves so quickly, you barely notice that it is moving. So I didn't get motion sickness, which I usually do. But they do have medicine on board for you if you need it. Right before we left, the attendant came around and gave everyone a complimentary PRCO. The trip took about 3 hours, and during the trip, this map was on the screen, so it would show you where you're at on the route. During the trip, it might slow down when you're near pods of orcas. The captain does a really good job of advising you where they're at. When we were going through this stretch, there were multiple different orcas and pods that we were able to see.
But they're quite a ways off on a red or starboard there over by the beach.
Going into Canada, they handed out these forms that we needed to fill out. Coming back from the U.S., we didn't have to fill out anything. They literally just looked at our passport and sent us on our way. It was really quick. But going into Canada, they asked multiple questions about why you're there. They were making random selections, which we got chosen for. So we had to go to a different room and get asked more questions. All in all, it probably took about 30 minutes for us to get off of the boat and on our way to just have fun for the weekend. Inside of this building is where you do the customs. That's also where you're going to pick up your luggage if you checked it. Overall, it was a great way to travel to Victoria. The Clipper, even though it didn't have Wi-Fi, our cell phones worked the entire time. The boat was comfortable. Even though it was freezing cold, I would definitely recommend traveling to Victoria this way.